Hello and welcome to Culture Illiterate, a podcast where four friends overthink movies about cars and family. I am Jake. I'm going to start saying negative things about the objects of inflammatory fan bases for my fun fact, and this is in hopes of getting hate views. I do genuinely believe the things I will be saying, but let's start with Zack Snyder's filmography is overwhelmingly bad, and he seems to lack basic media literacy, including about his own work.
You know, considering what you were going to say, I thought you were going to say something really bad.
That's nice.
I wonder, what did you think I was going to say?
You know, I feel like, that's kind of like a lukewarm take. It's not cold, because it's like a lot of people love Zack Snyder.
It's not so much that I'm going for hot take as much as he has a cult that follows him.
I know that.
Could maybe boost our numbers via hate.
No, I understand that. I understand that for sure, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just kind of dissecting it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zack Snyder's a nice person, at least.
He seems like a really nice guy.
He seems like a cool guy. He has some weird takes, like he thinks Batman should get raped in prison. Look that up. But he seems like a good dude generally. No, I've never heard a bad word about him from anybody that worked with him.
Have you guys ever seen that video where he was at a comedy show and the comedian?
Oh yes.
Yes,
I've seen that.
Crowd work with him. That shit's awesome.
He makes fun of himself a lot. He did it. He like played himself on that show, The Studio, Seth Rogen's show, and on Teen Titans Go, where he just makes fun of himself, and I do appreciate that. Wasn't
he also in Rick and Morty with James Gunn, and they both made fun of each other?
Yes, I forgot about that. I haven't watched that show in ages, so I forgot that happened.
Same. Well, my name is Jason, and I'm a big fan of Kenneth Walker from the Seattle Seahawks.
He's on my fantasy team.
Boo.
He busted off a big play a minute ago, but he just lost 2 yards.
He busted and he keeps bussing?
Hey, don't.
Sure.
Matt, this is where you usually go.
Oh, my name is Matt. I like Balatro.
What's Balatro?
It's a card game. You can thank Sean, by the way.
Is it a horse girl simulator?
No.
It's a card game, you said?
Our friend Eddie is very into it. Oddly enough. You think I'm lying, but I've learned Eddie is a problem.
I didn't think you were lying.
If you really think Balatro?
Why would I have thought you were lying?
No, not Balatro, the horse girl game.
Oh yeah.
Wait, Eddie plays the horse game?
Eddie was getting a little too worked up over it yesterday. I'm Sean. Since Matt brought up oh my god, I'm gonna shoot you, Matt. Since Matt brought up a game, I'll bring up a game. I love Hades. Play Hades.
Hades is also very good.
I have a follow-up based on your fun fact, and that's why do you hate your wife?
I don't hate my wife.
Because she doesn't play Hades.
This is the first time we've recorded since you got married, and your fun fact isn't that you got married? Seems like you hate your wife.
Eventually I mean, isn't that what marriage is? You just hate your wife. That's just it.
Okay, this podcast has enough white men without making wife bad jokes.
Wife bad?
That was I have it on my notes though. Housekeeping.
We already had our dad on.
But
get it?
Divorce.
Don't worry, Jake. You'll understand in a few weeks.
Yeah,
It's so
mine's around the corner.
Weird.
Yeah.
You're getting in like less than 2 weeks. That's insane.
Not less. No, it's over 2 weeks, buddy.
That's what I meant. I misspoke.
I believe today makes 16 days.
Yeah.
If I'm doing my math right.
Because it's 2 weeks from Saturday.
But yeah, I wanted to just acknowledge, this has like no bearing on the podcast whatsoever, but it is the first time we've recorded since Sean got married. So everybody who's listening, say congratulations, Sean, to yourselves. Leave a comment that says congratulations, Sean, because Sean is married. And like, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Let alone the first of the four of us. But I just feels like we can't not. I didn't want to do the first episode back and not talk about it.
Yeah. Sean got married. We were all there.
Disgusting.
It was a good time. It was a really good time.
Oh, fun story about that. So Sean loves saying this line called "Hello, Princess," and Lucy fucking hates it, but she allowed him to say it once for the wedding. But almost as soon as she said that, our friend Eddie walked in, and he immediately said, "Hello, Princess," and Sean said, "Hello, Princess," and Lucy heard it and said, "That's your one." This was 9 o'clock in the morning, by the way.
That's the kind of guy we're dealing with.
Yep.
I said my one was I was gonna use it when we got up to the front of when we both had walked up. I was gonna say
that would have been hilarious if you dropped it at the start of the letter you read her. Oh my god. I had to disassociate. I had to dissociate to keep from crying up there because I would have been ugly.
Oh, I cried.
Yeah, you weren't standing up there. I'm sure I had tears in my eyes, but I'm an ugly crier and I cry really easy. And if I had started to cry, it was gonna be distracting, and I couldn't do that to them. Matt's a classy crier, so you could.
Well, here's the thing. You say that you cry really easily. I don't. I never cry.
You're a man. You're a man.
I don't know. No, I just think I'm just broken in a sense.
I think I'm broken.
I think I'm just attached for my emotions in an unhealthy way. Anyway, but I really cried at Sean's wedding, and I was like, damn, that's how you know I care. Because I don't ever cry.
The man.
It was a good time, though. I got really drunk after that.
Oh, it was an amazing time. It was a great wedding. It was a hell of a time. I'll cherish it. I'll cherish it forever. It lived up to
literally.
It lived up to the expectations I had in my dream about it. It's a callback.
When you dreamed about my wife.
You were going to have a wonderful time.
That you're going to have a wonderful time with my wife.
God, you can't even dream about your friend's wife anymore because woke.
No, but literally a week before Sean's wedding, I saw him and he was like, "Are you gonna get drunk at my wedding?" And I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I?"
Oh,
and I lived up to that.
I thought you said your classic line.
Well, does the Pope shit in his hat? Yeah, I believe I did say that. Actually.
Oh, Jason, I need to confirm. Are you getting my special messages now?
I sure am.
Yes, it's working.
It's every day at 8 a.m. usually.
Okay, good. That
Sean
works.
sends the word "come" to Jason now. He used to do this in the past, but then he said it was too much work. And then during a conversation, I made him realize, sorry, Jason, that he can automate it. So now he can do it. He's doing it now.
Well,
it's really my fault, and I'm really sorry about that.
I learned from my work a way to automate it and program it in so it would send a message to Jason every single day. So now it will go on for eternity, and and there's no way to stop me.
I'm sorry. It's my fault.
Honestly,
it makes it not have reminded him.
If Jason wanted to get you in trouble with someone as a groomer, he probably could.
I'm not doing.
Just saying.
But before I did it for an entire year where I sent Jason the word "come" every single day, and then after that, we had on the year anniversary our Cummiversary. So
And
I got to work up to the.
And you read that in one of our early episodes.
Sure.
Yeah, so
did.
I got to
did.
work up to a second Cummiversary. I already have a plan for what the Cummiversary will be. I just need to get to that point.
I should never have brought it up. I'm sorry,
No.
Jason.
No, it was gonna happen eventually. It's just Matt really pushed the lever there.
Well, equally as important as Sean's marriage and just quick housekeeping on what's next for the podcast. Schedule's still going to be
We're all dying.
Going to be kind of irregular for a while, just because now I'm getting married, as we said, soon. And
that's disgusting. Why would you do that?
But hopefully by the end of the year, we're a little bit more like routine. As for what we're covering next, if you haven't read the title, we're covering Fast X today, which is the most up-to-date installment of Fast and Furious. So with us still, or at least me still boycotting Disney, and pausing our original run through of comic book movies, we have decided to pick up covering the Monsterverse next. So that is on the horizon for us. I also have some ideas I want to pitch as for like special episodes to the rest of the guys that I haven't mentioned yet. So I don't know exactly what's next, but generally speaking, Monsterverse and maybe some of those.
What's next is we're getting into porn and we're following our original fans' advice.
Oh, right. The one fan email we've ever gotten to be naked. I am going to pass on that, but you do you. There's no shame in it.
Wow,
you don't want to now.
You don't want to live up to. You don't want to do it for the fans.
Nope.
Well, our fans are mostly my mom, so
yeah, that's a little.
And
Hi, Amy.
I actually don't want to get naked for my mom.
Why not?
Ever.
Why not? You've already been before.
Okay. Anyone? I think that covers everything important. But do you guys want to move into Rex or story time? Because we haven't done this in a while, so I got to imagine we got some of those.
Don't we usually touch on politics and world news first?
Of course, you're right.
Oh yeah, you're right. Fuck a lot of things.
I don't know.
Where do you want to start? Should we, in domestic news or abroad?
So this Zoran guy's really getting traction.
Hell yeah, brother.
Anyway, I don't know. I just thought that'd be funny to say.
No, that was funny to say. It's doubly funny when you acknowledge it.
Thanks.
Cool. Does anyone want to go first, or recommend voting for Zoran Mondani?
Yeah, I recommend getting out to vote for Zoran. Even if you're not from New York, commit voter fraud. I don't care. For legal reasons, I'm joking.
For legal reasons, I'm joking.
Oh, he's not.
Anyway, I don't condone voter fraud. But I do. This is actually really random. I recommend Tillamook ice cream. It's the best ice cream. It's so fucking good.
What the fuck?
I really like Jenny's.
Dude, Jenny's is good too.
They got fun flavors.
Tillamook's so creamy. They make good shredded cheese as well.
Excuse
Big
me.
Tillamook guy.
Quality dairy.
I'm a big dairy guy, in all honesty.
I recommend dairy regardless of whether or not you're lactose intolerant. Deal with it. Grow up.
Oh. Yeah.
I recommend
I'm
dairy.
pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant. I'm pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant, and that when I eat dairy, I usually, have indigestion.
You're intolerant of when you're lacking toes because you like feet. Ayo.
You weren't supposed to know that.
Oh, no.
Stocking.
Anyway.
So, how are those?
I reckon, you know what? No. keeping on the food thing, I recommend mignonette. I got oysters the other night, and I had mignonette, which is just like vinegar and shallots. So this one was a yuzu mignonette, and it was delightful, and I had not had that before. So if you want to feel fancy, get some raw oysters and put some
I'm
raw
sorry.
mignonette on that bitch.
I'm sorry, but the only thing I'm thinking of are the minions. You just ate a fucking minion that they fucking fried.
Mignonette, it's minion porn. Eat some minion porn. It's not fried, first of all. I said it was raw. So eat raw dog some minion porn.
Oh, you just raw dogged a minion?
I raw dogged an oyster with mignonette.
He raw dogged a minion, bro.
Me and my fiance split some raw oysters. Oyster.
You raw dogged a minion. You raw dogged a minion with your fiance? That's disgusting.
That's kind of gross, Jake. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought you would like oysters, Matt. You're a food guy.
I don't think he likes the minions.
The way you described it. And also, yes, it is because of the minions.
I know you're saying it because of the minions, but I didn't think you would sink to Sean's levels, or mine, or sink to my lows. I figured you would just talk about the food, but apparently you're letting me down tonight.
I am tired enough where I will stoop to that level.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you know a good recommendation?
What?
The comedian Dan Soder just had a couple weeks ago had a Rob Thomas on from Matchbox 20 on his podcast, and that was a really good episode. He was really funny.
And you recommend Disease by Matchbox 20?
That is a really good song, Disease by Matchbox 20.
Shout out, Mom.
Like, genuinely, that's a really, really good song.
I got a long list of things that I'm going to recommend, and I'm going to elaborate on none of them.
Recommend?
To save us time, and because I assume by this point everyone knows my taste is like immaculate anyway, and will just blindly listen to me. So I recommend Weapons. I recommend The Ballad of Wallace Island. I recommend K-pop Demon Hunters. I recommend Lost in Starlight, Caught Stealing, Lurker, The Threesome. I strongly recommend The Threesome. Twinless, Long Walk, and Splitsville.
I'll you know what, considering I'll second Weapons and The Long Walk. I guess also K-pop Demon Hunters because I've seen all of those and all of those are great. Weapons in particular was a good one for me. Also The Long Walk. Also K-pop fuck it. I can't.
I keep meaning to watch Weapons, but I keep not doing it.
It's
because I love Barbarian, and I love Whitest Kids You Know.
There's a reference in the movie to the Whitest Kids You Know, and it's kind of funny because it doesn't make any sense. Or I should say it's just really random compared to everything else in the movie.
Well, rest in peace to Trevor Moore.
Rest in peace, King.
Woo.
Should I get this show on the road, or we got more to say?
Woo.
Woo.
Right, Matt's lost his rights to have any kind of. No, let's just end it there. Matt's lost his rights. Our guy won.
This is Trump's America now.
So we're covering Fast X, the most recent installment of Fast and Furious. It released May 19th of 2023. Jason had a concussion when it came out.
Did you say Fast X or Fast Sex?
Whatever you want to hear. Sean has Freudian hearing. The movie was written by Dan Mazzo, Justin Lin, and Zach Dean. It was originally supposed to be directed by Justin Lin, who's a big architect of the series, but he was replaced over creative differences, I believe, between him and Vin Diesel, by Louis Leterrier. I'm going to rattle off a really long list of names because this cast is ridiculous at this point. The returning people are Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto, Michelle Rodriguez as Letty Ortiz, Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw, Jordana Brewster as Mia Toretto. Where was I? I even lost track. Tyrese Gibson as Roman Pierce, Ludacris as Tej Parker, Natalie Emmanuel as Ramsey, Charlize Theron as Cypher, John Cena as Jacob Toretto, Sung Kang as Han Solo, Helen Mirren as Queenie Shaw, Scott Eastwood as Little Nobody. You had, and also Louis da Silva Jr. reprising a role that when I looked this up, I found out he was also in Fast Five as some character named Diogo. So I guess he's returning. It has 2 end of movie reveals / cameos from Joey Johnson reprising his role as Luke Hobbs and my mortal enemy Gal Gadot as Giselle. Then relevant newcomers with big scenes in this movie are Brie Larson as Tess, Jason Momoa as Dante Reyes, Alan Ritchson as Ames, Daniela Melchior as Isabella Nieves, Leo Abello Perry as Brian Toretto, Dom and Liddy's son. Well, actually, Dom, not biologically Liddy's. Anyway, Pete Davidson, shout out Haley, as Bowie. And for some reason, Debbie Ryan and Josh Dunn from 21 Pilots cameo as themselves. That's not really important. I just thought it was really weird, so I wanted to include it. And I'm also realizing I forgot
to say
drummer.
What?
I was gonna say I saw that scene with Debbie Ryan, and I did not remember that at all when we first watched it, and I was like really confused.
And
they are married. Yeah, now, the reason that they're in that movie together, I don't know.
They just bump into them at the airport. It's really weird. Stephen F. Winden is the cinematographer, because I left that out. Stephen F. Winden cinematography. Cool. So, yeah, I mean,
yes, I am.
Kind of before we even talk about the plot, one of my issues with the movie, and I'm sorry I got negative, but I actually enjoy this one more than the last by a good margin, is there does not need to be this many people in the movie. And if we're going to have many people in the movie, first of all, Jacob never needed to see him again. John Cena, great in Peacemaker, has a lot of talent. This role does not utilize him well. Why is he in this? If we have to bring anybody back from Fast 9, why couldn't it have been Anna Sewak? Because she's fantastic in everything she's in. And it's just like, this movie there's so many people.
It's stuffed
to the brim.
To me, it's frustrating because, one, they also have a large cast, but they also still try to do the whole, like, we're gonna have weird celebrity cameos for some reason, because we've done that in the past, but I don't understand. This is, like, not the place or the time for that. When you have so many people already in this movie, goddamn.
Yeah, like, I love Brie Larson and Alan Ritchson. They're both great, and they both do a good job in their scenes they're in, but we really don't need to be introducing, on top of a new villain, which this movie has a new villain, as they continue to take Cypher, who was set up in Fast 8 like she was going to be this new multi-film big bad, and has been, like, continuously slowly pushed to the side. First of all, I never want to see Scott Eastwood in anything, but back to Brie Larson and Alan Ritchson, we don't need 2 new major characters. Like, they're both, like, pretty important in this, and they're good in their roles, but why? We don't... The roles are redundant.
Also, because, like, she's just... I have no idea of the production process for this movie anymore, because I stopped giving 3 shits about looking that up beforehand. But, like, I could only assume it's either... Why is she not just Mr. Nobody at this point? All they keep saying during the movie is that it's just like, he's not here, he's on his own little trip adventure somewhere.
Because they couldn't get
I assume it's just because, they probably couldn't get Kurt Russell for the time frame, but then it's like... It just comes off so much worse, because it's just like throwing in 10 new characters to cover the role of 1. In this case, it's 2 for covering the role of 1 until eventually the end with Alan Ritchson, but still.
And I totally forgot Daniela Melchior, or however you say her last name is in this, because this was, and it's such a waster. She was Ratcatcher in the Suicide Squad, and is, like, the best part of that movie, probably, for my money. And then she's just like, she's so wasted in this that I didn't even remember she was in it. She showed up and I was like, she's in this? And she's important. She plays an important role. And I didn't even remember.
And then she disappears.
This is so true. Honestly, this movie, it just seems like it has an identity crisis. And then, because they don't have an identity, they then go back to, revisit their prime. But don't really understand what made at least Fast 5, because that's what they're referencing at the beginning, so great.
To me, it's frustrating because this one is trying to definitely do the whole, like, after Infinity War and Endgame, it's trying to really do that. To me, my main problem that we're not even getting into story at this point, we're just complaining about this movie right from the start. I still like this movie. I stand by this movie, but like it starts like this. It's going with the full trend of like it was set up to be a 2-part movie, and it ends with a cliffhanger, which I really don't like because it doesn't allow this movie to stand by itself, especially when like it title-wise is no longer part of a 2-parter kind of movie, even though that's what it is. But like to me, the movie is like good to me, and has its drawbacks in a lot of ways, but like is good up until that point because it just sort of like I felt like by the end of it I don't get a full story or nothing feels like finished. It's obviously of course a cliffhanger, but like we're now over 2 years past this movie coming out, and it's one of those things where it's like I remember the end, but I'm not in any way particularly excited, or as excited as I could be, for the end of it, if in some way, shape, or form this, like, I don't know, it's kind of like, when I think of how, and I don't mean to be comparing this movie to Infinity War, it's just the easiest thing it is to compare, where it's like you have a successful something where there's a successful track record behind it, but like Infinity War had a story, an end, and something to like wait for, and left on a cliffhanger, but it still tied up everything by the end of it to like continue later on with the next movie. And this one feels like there are certain parts of it that they never tie up whatsoever, and some things that just like happen. For example, I guess everybody quote unquote dying at the end feels like such a, especially with this franchise where nobody dies, having the big plane crash at the end feels like it's not that big of a deal, because I know that presumably most likely they are all alive. The only person I'm pretty sure is probably dead is John Cena's character, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's probably too expensive to keep, so they just immediately killed him off.
Also, they needed less characters to begin with, so killing a couple of them off, I'm fine with. However,
that was just such a short-lived trend for a while, making everything part 1 and part 2. Like, obviously, like, Harry Potter and Twilight did that, and it was pretty successful for them, but it didn't really become an attempted trend, I feel like, until Infinity War Endgame, like you said, and that was, obviously, those movies were, like, hugely successful and are generally well-liked. And after that, a lot of movies, including ones that I, like, really enjoy, wanted to go that route. Like Mission Impossible, the last 2 Mission Impossible movies were originally part 1, part 2, and then they flopped. Like the second to last one flopped, and they like completely rebranded and delayed filming on the second part. And then I know Snyder wanted to make like 3 parts of Justice League and this. And I think the biggest issue here is I remember walking out of the theater being like, wow, that's a crazy cliffhanger. It was so unexpected. And I felt really hype at the time. But at this point, that hype is just completely gone because they clearly did that with wanting to have a crazy cliffhanger in mind, but had no plan for 11 in place at all because they haven't even started filming 11 yet.
So, yeah, that's also the frustrating thing. At the very least, when it came to like the production of Infinity War and Endgame, again as an example, I hate having to bring that up multiple times, but like it's the most popular one that is easily recognizable. Like they filmed those back to back, and the second one came out a year after the first. So like you have the first one still in your mind by the time the second one comes out, and you're like prepared, excited for it, ready to go. And now that it's been over 2 years for like the sequel to Fast X, I'm not excited. And also a lot of this movie like went thwip out my head, and the main things that I remember are Jason Momoa because he's fucking fantastic. But like that's most of what I remember. I completely forgot about the plane crash at the end, which I find hilarious that that's the thing that I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen after watching it again, but I was like, it didn't leave enough of an impact that they could wait this long for it. And I know that some of that is also probably affected by like COVID too and everything that happened then. But like, if you want to do a two-parter like this where you do have like a you know, some sort of like cliffhanger in between, it really does help if in terms of production they were making them back to back, because then you aren't stuck in this situation where you're waiting for the next movie and it's been years and like everybody in the audience has just moved on. I do think that is like a genuine, outside of the movie, just a negative in general in terms of production, because you just, if it takes so long for a movie to come out, you're not gonna inherently, some people will not care as much, especially general audiences. And while I will continue to watch Fast and Furious and will watch the next ones that come out, it's just a matter of like, I'm not as excited for it as I once was.
At this point, I'm watching it because I just am already committed so much time to this franchise. So just why not? Why not?
Sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly. I already sunk. At this point, multiple like 10, 20, a lot of hours basically into this franchise.
Because we did this podcast on them, you've basically seen them all twice.
Well, I watched like 5, 6, 7 a few times because those are the best ones, obviously. But like, you know, now it's just like a sunk cost thing. I'm just like, well, you know what? I already been through most of the journey. I might as well go through the rest, and that's my mentality now.
Might as well finish it out.
I might as well finish it out.
Yeah, it's not bad enough to justify like stopping after.
Well, it's also that it's not bad. These movies aren't, except for like 4, realistically, are inherently not that bad. My problem is more just like outside issues that don't inherently have to do with the movies, that just kind of make me go like, dang. If I were going to say from an inherent movie perspective, it's that this one just has the problem being fucking chock-loaded, and it's primarily because they're trying to like cash in on like, these are the last 2 movies in the franchise. Even though it probably won't be, and honestly, I see this continuing with spin-offs like crazy, because they already had a couple planned to begin with, and they, while they haven't said they aren't doing them on the side, and they haven't been going forward with them, I really wouldn't be surprised if they continue the franchise with other people after a certain point. Also, I feel like Vin Diesel, to some degree, doesn't want this thing to die either.
Yeah, I think he's lost without it. How much it continues probably depends on how much 11 makes, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if I just called him Dom, if Vin Diesel like has any idea how to operate when Fast isn't in his life.
I would actually prefer if we now refer to him as Dommy.
Dommy. Okay. Well,
God, I love
speaking what?
I love Jason Momoa.
I love Jason.
Love Jason
He's great.
Momoa.
He's great. So his character's introduced. This movie actually opens up talking about 5 through 7, like the holy grail of Fast. It opens up with the vault chase from the end of Fast 5, and it has a bit of a retcon where you find out the villain from Fast 5 had this son Dante, played by Jason Momoa, who was there during this whole chase. It's a retcon that works for me personally because it's not like outlandish or hard to believe that there was a guy there that's just we didn't know, because why would we know him? And it kind of even adds to the point of the collateral damage left in the wake of the Fast crew, that they're just totally unaware that this guy even had a son. So we find out that he was there for all of this when his father was killed by the Fast family, and he was thrown into the water and legally dead for 2 minutes. It's just for me, it's a fun way to take us back to what's probably the best set piece Fast has ever done and recontextualize it in a way. From there, we see Dom and his team get requested by the agency, the vaguely named agency. It's what it's called. It's canon name. It's the agency.
Dommy.
To steal a computer.
It's no, it's Dommy. It's Dommy. You can't refer to him as anything else anymore.
They're requesting Dom and his team to steal a computer chip that's being transported through Rome and Vatican City. Him and his wife Letty stay behind with Brian to their son, not the former Paul Walker character, while the rest of the team, consisting of Rome, Tej, Han, Ramsey, travel to Rome. A wounded Cypher then arrives at Dom's home in the middle of the night, warning him that Hernet Reyes, his son, the villain from Fast 5, Dante, has turned her crew against her and is using them to target Dom as revenge for his father's death and the loss of the family fortune 10 years prior. The next morning, Little Nobody informs Dom and Letty that there was no agency mission planned in Rome, and that they realize this was all a setup, traveling to Rome to rescue the team. Meanwhile, in Rome, Tej, Han, and Ramsey break into a truck, presumably containing the computer chip, only to realize that it has a DM-79 subnautical neutron mine. Dante begins controlling the truck remotely, activating and releasing the bomb into the streets. What ensues is a chase scene that strongly mirrors the vault scene from Fast 5 in a which is something I find both very fun and thematically fitting, as it puts a more chaotic spin on that original scene while still keeping it fresh by having a drastically different setting, like from a highway to the Vatican, and raising the stakes of it being a nuke being driven around the Vatican and not just, a big vault of money. So he controls the truck remotely, activating and releasing the bomb at the streets. Dom arrives and pushes the bomb into the river, minimizing damage, and Letty is apprehended by the police. Ames, the agency's de facto leader since Mr. Nobody has disappeared without a trace, played by Alan Ritchson, assumes that Dom and his team are responsible for the bombing and begins a worldwide manhunt. In LA, Dom and Mia's brother, Jacob, rescues Mia and Brian, sometimes called Little B, from a squad sent by Ames to apprehend them. He sends in a smoke bomb to apprehend a child. That's a reference to this film having an accurate representation of cops. And with Mia's approval, Jacob takes B to a secret location in Portugal where they will await Dom and further instructions. Mr. Nobody's daughter, Tess, is convinced. I did not realize that was his daughter, but according to the synopsis, it is convinced of the team's innocence and uses God.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't know.
They say that
I mentioned
it.
I just totally blocked that. Again, these are characters that I'm like. I like Brie Larson. I think she's great. Couldn't give less of a fuck about Tess. So she's convinced of their innocence and uses God's Eye from a previous movie, a mass surveillance program that Ramsey had designed to find Dom in Naples, and informs him that Dante is now in Rio de Janeiro. I'm gonna pause there. But I just wanted to get through a lot of plot since we've already talked for over 40 minutes. What do you guys have to say before I say any more?
God's Eye.
Honestly, not much to say.
Yeah, it's really mid.
I mean, there are things that I like. It's not. it's one of the things that I find frustrating about this movie is that, like, there's some really good parts in it, but a large portion of it is, like, dulled down. I don't want to say dulled down, but it is just it's general Fast and Furious fare. The opening was great to me, honestly, with the ball through Rome, and I liked when we eventually see Jason Momoa's character, that he's just continually making jokes of, how could you blow up the Vatican? Who would do such a thing, when he's the one who's doing it? And him being a goofy villain, I love. It is frustrating to me that, like, throughout the previous two movies, all they were doing the whole time was building up Cypher as, like, the big bad the whole time, and then just to, like, shove her aside and move on to Jason Momoa, which I think was still a good idea in the end, because I find Jason Momoa as the villain 10 times more entertaining. But, like, it feels like the movie is trying to have this big build-up, or that, like, it's been building up to this whole thing, and yet it feels like immediately, like, all of a sudden there's a big bad that we're supposed to care more about than the other big bads we've had in the Fast franchise, and it's just really hard to make me do that. Again, Jason Momoa is still, like, best villain, I think, within the Fast franchise by any means, to me, especially if they continue with him doing these stupid antics for 11, but, like, he just sort of does come out of nowhere, and the movie acts like they've been building up to this the whole time when they haven't.
Right, I agree. Like, it's so out of left field in a way, and it's like, I don't know, it's strange, because as good as, like, the prime of Fast and Furious is, like, 5, 6, and 7, and even, 1, 2, and 3, as good as they are, they don't necessarily have, like, the most memorable antagonists or villains. And this one has a really memorable one, but he's so, like, out of nowhere, and the rest of the movie is so just average and bleh, that it's just kind of out of place.
Yeah, it's like what Sean says. It's like it feels like a course correction instead of something that was naturally built, and is really annoying.
Yeah, and another thing that I wanted to say is, Sean said, like, it kind of feels like dulled down or watered down, and I agree, because it's like, I felt like the thing that I kept thinking the whole time watching it was, like, it just feels like it's hitting all the same notes as a Fast and Furious movie, but it's not doing any of them special or particularly well, aside from Jason Momoa being fun.
I would also add that the movie does a lot of pushing of, like, older things that we've seen in the other movies too. For example, like, towards the end when we have Dom push the button in the car for the NOS.
Yeah.
And it does the whole, like, CGI scene into the tubes and everything as the gas is going through, and it's like, okay, that's fun. However,
it kind of feels a little bit like a reunion tour. It's like, okay, yeah, I like this, but it's not.
I think that's the best way to put it. It feels like a reunion tour, but I also feel like there's not enough substance behind it. It's just the idea of, what if all these characters came together at once? And while, like, when it came to something like again, I hate to bring it up, I keep bringing it up, but, like, when it comes to something like the Avengers and stuff, when you see them all come together, it's to, like, take on things they wouldn't necessarily be able to take on their own, so it's something they have to do together, and usually that's, like, a fine thing, but this is, like, they're bringing every single person who has ever been in a fucking Fast and Furious movie, almost everyone, and they're trying to shove all of them in. Everyone they could get, and they're trying to shove them in all at once, and, like, have them have, like, parts in this whole story, and it's part fan service, part reunion tour, and part just like there's just no substance behind it, so it just ends up feeling overstuffed. So it's like you have two of the three parts that are necessary for it, but you're missing the main ingredient, which is the substance behind it of like why are these characters all coming together? Why are they there? And while with Jason Momoa's character, it's obviously the whole reason of like why is that he's going after the family. But like that's what every villain has been doing. He's not doing anything different or anything special other than like I want to fuck with the family, and that's like also what everybody else has been doing, except this time like he's actually successful.
It's like the core theme of most of these movies is like someone's trying to fuck with the family.
So it's like, I don't know. It's not... Again, this isn't me shitting on Jason Momoa or his character because he is the most fun part of this. It's just that, like... The Fast movies have always known what kind of movie they are and are self-aware enough, but I feel like towards a point, especially with like this one, they've started to become almost too aware to where they know about like fan service and what kind of fan service they can use, and they've existed long enough that they can bring back certain things and make fan service out of it. And they also know that they've always had like the same dramatic story beat every single time. And they've also since like transitioned further into like spy shit and stuff. But like now it doesn't feel like they're the best way I could put it is it doesn't feel like, I don't know if thematically or if story-wise what would be the best way to put it, but it doesn't feel like they're moving anywhere, if that makes sense. Like, originally they were a movie about street racing, and then it slowly transitioned further and further into this weird, like, the agency and Mr. Nobody and all this spy shit and like gallivanting across the world and doing all of these like cool heists and stuff. And doing all these cool adventures. And that's fine and all. That's like perfectly fine. But we are at a point where I feel they need to transition further into something, not something else, but just they need to switch things up a little bit to keep it fresh and keep it like going in a way that is meaningful and isn't stale anymore. And I say this not because this movie is the one that is the most stale. I give that one to more so the previous two movies that we've seen before this, and 4 can eat a bag of dicks. But this movie is where it starts to become the most noticeable, I would say, because I can finally look back at the rest of the movies I've seen up to this point and go, wow, things really haven't progressed that far, have they? Despite the fact that we're on the 10th movie. Things have progressed since the first movie, of course. It's very different, but like from, I don't know, 5 until now, it's kind of been very samey. That isn't to say, again, they are bad. It's just to say that, like, I want to see them do more, and I know they can. Because I saw them do that with 5 through 7. My rant is done.
I'm gonna differ and push back on some of what y'all said a decent amount. I certainly have my issues with the movie. Like, I know I started off, like, pretty negative on it in terms of there's too many characters, and something that Sean just said that I agree with is I'm frankly, or at least I think this is kind of what you were getting at. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. I'm a little bit sick of the spy stuff. It was fun at first, but like,
yeah,
I like Kurt Russell's Mr. Nobody, but I don't really need any of the others, and it feels like something that could be like here and there, but it doesn't need to be every single one have the agency involved. So yeah, I mean, I have my fair share of issues with this movie. For me, like, from top down, what I'll say is this is in the upper half of Fast for me. Like, we covered 12 movies for this.
And to me, it's easily not as good as 5 through 7, and it's not like it's not even close. 5 through 7 clear this easy. I would put it behind the original. I'd put it behind Better Luck Tomorrow for including that. But for me, this was like a noticeable step in the right direction and is definitely for me better than 8, 9, and Hobbs and Shaw.
Everyone's talked about Momoa. He's the best part for sure. I think Jason Momoa is Dante Reyes and maybe this is extreme, but to me, it is the single best performance we've gotten in any of these, including Better Luck Tomorrow. Like, I think he is genuinely just perfect in this movie. And it's not all him. Some of it's like whoever's in the costuming is great. They give him these like really like flowy out. He has this one that's like a pink silk, a lavendery, silky, flowy like outfit with these beaded like old granny glasses and a pink scrunchie, and like he's always kind of dressing like that and has painted nails, and he's very over the top and theatrical. He's playing the Joker basically. I didn't know I needed that, but apparently Jason Momoa makes a great Joker because that's essentially who Dante Reyes is with a different backstory. And I'm just in a hot take mode now, so I'm going to say Jason Momoa is a better Joker than Heath Ledger. Just you get a rise out of people listening, maybe. So I agree on some of those complaints I said ahead before. I agree on Jason Momoa being amazing, but I'm just kind of like putting my chips all in on Jason Momoa is like truly is like my favorite thing in any of these performance-wise. Oh,
100%. He's like, I can't give him enough praise for it because like, and I don't think it's the writing that makes him great in this. I feel like it's just him. Not that like anything's written horribly, but I feel like a lot of this just feels like Jason Momoa just doing shit in front of the camera and seeing what works, and it's lovely every single time he's on screen. My God, his flamboyant outfits are fantastic. The part that they managed to do a good job of also towing the line of him being like an actual threat versus like being so flamboyant and fantastical about and theatrical about everything, because like the one part that I remembered from before was him like surrounded by the two dead bodies, and he's just talking to them.
Best scene.
And that was like so funny, but it's so uncomfortable because there's like flies everywhere, and he's just talking to them, and like one of the flies lands on the guy's eye while he's talking to him, and it's like, oh, this is disgusting, but also like I love this.
That is my favorite scene, though. Like, it's so good. Like, what a sick piece of shit. It's so funny.
It's very funny.
And I think, but like, the other praise I want to give it, where I feel like a lot of, like, the consensus amongst you three seems to be a lot of it's more of the same, but I think it actually has a step forward in a few areas. I think it's one of the better movies in the franchise overall musically. They use some piano notes from See You Again a few times throughout as a leitmotif, and I think that's really a really classy way to both honor Paul Walker, but it also takes on this new double meaning when you have a villain who's coming onto the scene and has been waiting to see them again for 10 years to get his revenge. And I disagree on the idea that it feels like the franchise or the story is trying to pretend that they've been building to this. I feel like it's kind of doing the exact opposite of treating this like it's a blind side to these characters and hitting the idea of like as awful. Like, Dante's just crazy, and he even kind of acknowledges he's like, yeah, my dad was a piece of shit, and I don't fully comprehend why I'm doing this, but also you killed my dad, so I'm doing it. And it's just such a wild card that I feel like, for me, I got the opposite vibe. I didn't feel like they were trying to act like this was built to at all. It was the fact that this was just a complete nuke in the middle of their lives, that they didn't see coming because of
Dante, because they don't consider things, and like it's an angle. It's to me, it's a really fresh angle on the family that, oh, they do all this stuff and they don't think about who it hurts. And
I did.
That's
I
not,
was
that's not to say that
gonna
Dante
say
is
I did.
righteous, but it's a different perspective on the main characters that haven't had until this point.
Yeah, I did want to add to that, like, especially I love the scene where I do like that they do kind of address that they cause collateral damage, because, like, I love the one part, at least, when, like, Rome is on fire and, like, they're looking out at everything and they're kind of just like, we did this. They managed to still, like, stop the bomb from exploding and everything, but they still see that, like, a large portion of Rome is on fire, and they look back at it and are like, we did this. Is this normally how we do? Is this normally what happens after we finish a mission?
Yes,
and I thought that
point.
at least that was, like, a good, like, thing to address, and they, like, continue to make that, like, a point throughout this whole thing. Again, when I gave my whole rant, that is mostly just me focusing on, like, all the bad things. In terms of, like, good things, that is, like, one of the things that I do genuinely like. I would agree that I put this over 8 and 9. I think this is, again, in the better half of Fast and Furious movies. I think this is also just coming at a time where I'm just like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
I definitely. I think all of our views are compromised by the fact that we watched 12 of these over the course of about a year.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's what I was really concerned with when we were planning to watch this, because I even texted this in the chat. I'm just like, I am pretty sure I am not going to enjoy this as much as the first time, because the first time I watched this movie, it was years since I watched the Fast movie. The last movie I watched was like Fast 9. That was like a year and a half ago, from when I watched Fast 10. And so watching Fast 10, I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what? I actually really enjoy that. But it's a completely different perspective when you already watched 9 in a span of like a month, where it's still fresh in your mind. And it is kind of exhausting because, as we mentioned plenty of times, throughout the last 3 movies, it is very samey, and it's not in a not good way.
It also hurts not seeing them in theaters. Like, these are big spectacle type of movies. I think the bomb chase in Rome is like 5 through 7 level good set piece. Like, I'd put it up there, but it's not the same watching it on my laptop or on the TV as watching it in a theater. And the other thing about these is these are movies that are really fun to, like, watch with your buddies. I don't think you guys got together for them. I've been watching them alone, and yeah, they're just better when you're watching them with friends.
Yeah, they also, like, that's, like, a good portion of it too that makes these enjoyable, is watching them with friends, even in the theaters. Yeah, because, like, I love the spectacle of it all, but also getting to see it, like, with friends makes it much more enjoyable, because, one, it's more fun to talk about all the goofy shit that happens than it is, like, if I'm watching this alone, I'm putting a bit more focus on it, because I'm not like I can't do shit when I'm like other shit when I'm watching a movie. Typically, I will have, if I'm focusing on it, at the very least, I want to focus on it like 90% of the time versus like 0% of the time. If I'm in a theater, it's 100% of the time I'm like focusing on it. But like when I am being sat down and something like this, and I'm watching it on my phone or on a TV, I have to sit there, and I don't know how to put it other than this is a personal thing. I think more for me is that I feel like I'm taking it much more seriously than I should, than if I were like at the theaters with my friends, or if I were like just watching it with friends, because it's just so much easier to like smoothly go through at that time and have much more fun with it. I feel like it does kind of like, depending on how you're watching these movies, does kind of affect it too, which is I don't know if I'd say that's a disappointment. I like it when a movie can fill a role for me for like this is a good movie to sit down with friends, or like I like it when a movie can be like that. So I do give this movie a positive for that, for being like watching this when we did watch these all together as like friends and we were first going through these, it was fucking bonkers, and I loved it, and I still love these movies. I just think there is an optimal viewing experience for these movies.
Yeah, that's definitely true. This one also, I don't know. I thought the dialogue wasn't as strong in this one, and the jokes weren't as funny to me. It just was, everything felt weaker.
I think the funniest scene is either everything Momoa says. I think is gold, and that scene with the dead guys is gold.
Funny, but
other than that, I think the only scene that
in general.
No, I agree. I think the only scene that that I remember making me laugh that wasn't Momoa related is I enjoy the Pete Davidson scene where Han eats the weed muffin. Not what happens when you get high. Unless there was something else in that muffin. But I felt like it was only implied. But in general, like Tej and Rome fighting in an internet cafe that exists for some reason, while Han just like picks at a weed muffin I found that funny. And Pete Davidson's just funny. Pete Davidson has very good comedy timing. He's an addition that I didn't mind because he's literally just in one scene for some jokes. It's not like they're trying to make him a character.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He should think about doing comedy.
Yeah, he should do that.
He had a much better and a much more elongated cameo than most other stars get, too. So like
Debbie Ryan.
His felt like more natural than the others because he actually played at least a role in it.
You know, and like he's the type of guy that you're like, oh yeah, he probably loves these movies. And he's just, Haley, if you're listening, he's just so sexy, right? I mean, I know Jason also thinks that. I agree. I'm shouting at my sister again. Because that's like 50% of her brand is just Pete Davidson.
Don't go looking at her Twitter page.
That's just good advice in general. I love you, Haley. Moving the plot forward a little. Down in Rio, Dom sorry, was that?
No.
Okay. Dom challenges Dante to a race with this woman, Isabel, who we later find out is Elena's sister. And his ally, Diogo, who was in a Rio scene in Fast 5, apparently. In the ensuing race, Dante manages to kill Diogo when Dom chooses to save Isabel. He kind of does the Green Goblin and Spider-Man 2002 thing, which I'm sure was done before then too, of that you have to choose, and Dom actually does have to choose, and someone does die, which I like. It's not a major character, but at least it's kind of.
Yeah, I was about to say there still weren't high risks because you don't really know the other character.
Yeah, it was more than I expected. When I watched it, I kind of assumed he was gonna bullshit his way into saving both of them. So
also that's typical. That's typically what happens, because in the other movies they do have that, not like specifically called out, but like there have been times where Dom has to save two people and he manages to save both, and this is like the first time where like there is no other way out of it. Somebody has to die, and then they go through with it. So I appreciate it.
And that scene in general. Sorry, Sean. What?
I was gonna say they have stakes.
Yeah, there's something like.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There's higher stakes in that scene than usual.
Definitely. I appreciate that scene in general. To me, it sums up why I like Dante as a villain. He's genuinely, like, he's the first fast villain that's, like, truly insane and has no, like, limits. I think, like, even Cypher, who we talked about being, like, really despicable, being willing to kill a baby, and, like making out with Dom against his will. Like, Cypher was gross. But she had, like, a motivation that was, like, moral-based. It was shitty morals, but it was there. Dante's a complete wild card when you don't know where it's going to go. And he's the only person who is not, like, kind of intimidated by people's loyalty to Dom. If anything, he seems to find it, like, entertaining and funny when everyone pulls the guns on him in Rio because they like Dom. He's like, bet. And I think the same way that the Rome bomb nuke scene works, because it like takes something familiar, but then
incorporates the wild card element of Dante and says, okay, but now it's a nuke instead of a vault, and instead of a random highway, it's a highly populated historical area. This takes something that we've seen before, a street race, though we haven't had a street race in a little bit, so I kind of like seeing one, and a place we've seen before like Rio, and adds the element of Dom's no longer going to win. Winning the race is not the priority. Can he save someone, and if so, can he who? It twists it in a new way, and I find that it kept me engaged in a way that, like, compared to 8 or 9 or Hobbs and Shaw, I was less engaged because I knew what was coming, and I didn't this time.
You didn't come this time?
I wasn't engaged this time. I was engaged this time. I am engaged. I was engaged by the movie. I am engaged to my fiance. Sean's confusing me. Oh, it also has a good
It's
musical
not the first time.
They also
God.
That was good. What was I saying? Oh, it also has another good musical moment. They do a needle drop of Gasolina. Right as Dante like looks at Dom and tells him his weakness is he likes to save people, and then he says, "How do you choose the ones you save?" And then the street light starts to Gasolina, and it's a really good needle drop. So that was another, just like because I mentioned, feeling like the music took a step up in this one. I liked that non-diegetic music. Oh God, where were we? I'm still thinking about Sean confusing me. Jesus Christ.
Are you still thinking about me?
So
not your fiance?
Yeah, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about Priya. I'm
You're thinking about my wife?
I'm thinking about your.
Are you dreaming about his wife?
He's like, what if Sean was Indian?
I'm being taken out of context. I'm gonna shoot. No, I'm thinking. To tell the truth, I'm picturing Sean in some of these Jason Momoa Dante outfits.
I wish Sean had Jason Momoa hair.
Sean does too.
God, of course I do.
I do too.
Where we saying Dom fucks is allowed to fuck up. Plot. Let's talk plot again. Grace.
Yeah,
Dom saves
can we talk about plot? I've been dying to talk about the plot all day.
Well, listen, I
love your plots.
It's been an hour and almost 10 minutes before I edit anything down. So, like, we're gonna be here all night if I don't move it forward. You know, I'm not a big plot guy. I'm more. Plot hole was my trigger word, but
You love holes?
don't get me started, Sean. So saves Isabel. Diogo dies. Tess visits Letty at the black site and covertly wounds her and gives her I don't know. She gives her some kind of signal. I don't even remember. And it gets Letty sent to a prison treatment center where Cypher's present, deducing that the black site is located in Antarctica. They must work together to escape. It leads to a fight between the two of them that I really enjoyed because Charlize Theron kicks ass. Go watch her episode on Fury Road. So seeing her fight is always a pleasure, and seeing Letty fight is always great. And it's like the fight between the two of them. There's so much bad blood. It's a long time coming. It's a good fight, and then it leads into the trope that I love. I love people that hate each other's guts but are forced to work together trope, and it does that with them trying to get out of this black site. So I enjoy that scene a lot. It's in Antarctica. Back in London, Dom teams up. Dom's team turns to Deckard Shaw for help, and Han shows up, and Deckard immediately swings on him for some reason that feels mostly out of character to me. The movie in general does keep up with good characterization for its characters, which is something I admire the franchise for doing. But this is like one notable exception is I feel like you did a whole Deckard Shaw redemption arc, and then he just immediately tries to kill Han again when he no longer has a reason to. At first he thinks it's because Han's there for revenge, but at a certain point it's like, why is he being so aggro? Anyway, my mind's wandering.
My mind's been wandering.
Oh, your mind never stopped wandering, I don't think, Matt.
How's Belatra,
I'm
buddy?
playing Balatro right now.
How's Belatra, buddy?
I'm playing Belatra. Through convincing of Han after a scuffle between him and Deckard, Ames apprehends Dom and Rio before Dante intercepts them on the same bridge where the two of them had previously sort of met and where Dante's father was killed during the vault heist. A sniper that is following Dante's instructions, and he's acting like he's conducting an orchestra. It's well done. Injures Tess. Dom steals God's eye from her. Tess is taken to the hospital. Ames is revealed to be an ally of Dante's this whole time, betraying Dom. I think Ames...
He's an ally?
Yeah, he's an ally. The A stands for ally. Definitely not asexual. And Ames, more stray thoughts, I think could be a really fun foil for Hobbs, but he did not need to be introduced in this movie, especially since Hobbs is essentially not in it. Ames is with Dante. He locates Brian in Portugal and kidnaps him. Dom is cornered by mercenaries. Jacob sacrifices himself to wipe them all out, allowing Dom to rescue Brian. Dante again corners them and acknowledges that Ames is a double agent, and worked with him and his father, at which point the latter shoots down a plane that has Rome, Tej, Ramsey, and Han in it, seemingly killing them. There's no way they're dead. Dom drives off the edge of the dam. He and Brian are on to another, live on to avoid that trap. Witnessing their escape, Dante then triggers an explosion planted on the dam, intending to kill the pair. I forgot Dom has a really cool line about "you made one mistake, you never took my car," when Dante is talking about all the things he took from him. There is some good... I agree with Jason about the dialogue being generally weak, but there's some good lines like that, and never accept death when suffering is owed. Dam explodes, trying to kill them. It cuts to Antarctica, where we see Giselle, who was in a plane crash herself, is somehow alive. Boo! Fuck Giselle. Fuck Gal Gadot, really. She can't act. From Palestine. Who is presumed dead, emerges from a submarine to rescue Letty and Cypher. In a mid-credit scene, we see Luke Hobbs infiltrate an abandoned theater with a team of agents, where he's contacted by Dante, who tells him that while Dom was the reason behind things, Hobbs is the one who pulled the trigger, killing his father, so he wants revenge on him too. Hobbs replies that he's not hard to find and crushes the phone with his bare hands, and that's the movie. I just wanted to speed through that, guys. Sorry. All right. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about? Let's start with the little appearances. What do you guys think about Shaw's appearance? Hobbs's appearance, Giselle's appearance.
Unnecessary.
Yeah,
I
movie
definitely
that was already stuffed had more guest stars.
I feel like those are three things that should have shown up in the next movie, but like Giselle shouldn't be back. I would have much more appreciated if like she just stayed dead. Not just because Gal Gadot, but because like the character finished. I don't need more. I didn't need more. I don't want more. Why is she back?
Same thing with Han. Like, as much as I like Han, like,
I mean, yeah, Han is just kind of there too, partially, but I did like Han. I'm fine with it, just because, like, we're at the point where he's just alive now, and I have to live with it, and I like him anyways, so I'm like, this is fine. But yeah, like, Hobbs and Shaw, I like that they're there, but that's something that you could have waited on. I'm fine that, like, Hobbs is in the post-credit. I'm fine with that.
Me too, I liked it.
I think that one's fine. Like that, he's not like in the movie, and it's leading to something more of like, I can't. Why am I forgetting Jason Momoa's character's name? I'm just gonna call him Jason Momoa because he's Jason Momoa. But I like that it's leading to Jason Momoa's character spreading out more and just causing more destruction for everybody else. So like, I like that a lot more. So I think Hobbs' inclusion is fine. Shaw, I'm just like, I agree, they didn't really, that the whole fight between him and Han was kind of, not bad action-wise, but just why. It felt unnecessary and like a bloated waste of time. So yeah.
Gosh. What do you guys think about the Black Site stuff with Letty and Cypher?
It was cool, but I don't know. Even though it's technically a new set piece, it didn't feel new. It didn't feel like
Fight cool.
well, fight cool. Yeah, it's just something we have seen before. It's nothing new. It's more of the same, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But it's just something that I wish was at least a little unique. But it was cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Nothing else to add there.
Okay, and then the last couple big things. What do you guys think about the final set piece on the bridge, the same bridge from the end of Fast Five? A lot of helicopters, a lot of gunfire, a lot of explosions. What are your thoughts? A lot of sacrifices, maybe deaths.
I
hate
like
maybe deaths. I hate that so much. Sorry, I just had to say that real quick.
Me too.
Oh no,
buddy.
I hate it. I hate it too. I think that was a stupid thing to do. I think of the deaths that I think are like permanent, I think Jacob's character is gone. I don't think he's coming back. I'm pretty sure he's dead. And yeah, I'm fine with that. It delivers enough to me that like somebody who was important to the characters is dead. Enough, and there's like I like that they managed to kill off somebody who doesn't have as much like presence in the series, but still manages to get across that there's stakes that affect everybody. So I'm fine with him dying. Fuck the rest of them. I do like the set piece of having things on the highway again. I think that was a nice little tidbit to have that I do appreciate them coming back to.
Yeah, it was cool. The action was exciting. There's nothing particularly bad about it.
Yeah, there's some fun.
I didn't love it though.
There's some fun stuff in there. I like when they try to like lift Dom's car up off the road because like if we took the street away, you can't run a street race or whatever. It's mostly good. I think it goes on a little too long. A couple too many helicopters, a little bit too produced. But my biggest
I
issue
like it when Dom lifts a car.
Yes, always great. My biggest issue though is just like, well, sometimes it's a little bit ugly, just like it's a little bit looks like you're filming on a soundstage type of deal, green screen type shit. But my biggest
there's
the sky.
I didn't.
Is great.
Yeah, I didn't say this earlier, but this movie seems to be one of the weaker ones in terms of CGI, which is kind of strange.
Agreed. Agreed. But my biggest issue with it is just like what you guys kind of all already hit on, and that's that there's a literal plane crash and Jacob's car flips upside down and explodes, and I don't think I think maybe one person dies. I would be stunned if they kill more than one main character. And my bet is that it's Jacob, who's easily the least essential of them, though also the one I want dead the most. So
that's just exactly it. It's that like it's Jacob, the character that has the least presence out of all the ones that are presumably dead.
This movie will retroactively get better if 11 comes out and they actually have consequences and like people actually die or at least like significantly harmed and like a long-term like compromise their life kind of way. Which I never
if that's the case, then it would really be Fast and Furious' Infinity War, where the actions actually have consequences.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing that I think would like really make it is if they do manage to make those make there be consequences, because like dang, that's what made Infinity War into Endgame so great, was because like one, it's 5 years past, but so everybody's been gone for 5 years, but like
I feel like
people lose their limbs, people die, people get hurt, and it's like, yeah, some of them come back, but some of them don't, and some of them don't come back correctly, so...
Okay. Hot take, if I'm picking people to die for this, one, Jacob can die, I think that's
good. It fits his arc anyway if he dies saving his nephew after he was a villain last movie. In the plane, for the love of God, don't kill Roman Tej. I like Ramsey. I won't. You could kill her though, and it wouldn't be the worst thing because it would be impactful, and it's not. I just don't. Like, I would just be. I don't know. I just don't want Roman Tej. I don't want to kill the comedy relief guys.
It would be. Sorry, I was gonna add for Ramsey. I agree, but I feel like it would be 10 times better if they do give her a dramatic death and something to do with God's eye.
True, she should get to do something cool, but
yeah,
I would kill Han because look, I don't like that they brought Giselle back. My opinions on Gal Gadot as a person and an actor aside, I just think it's well past the threshold of like, okay, death isn't real in this anymore. And like her death of all of them, like she dies in a literal plane crash. Why is she alive? Why, like, it's just stupid. But there's almost a Romeo and Juliet type thing you can do where if you kill Han, if you reveal that she survived a plane crash and then kill Han in one, and she returns only to find out that the love of her life has died the same way they thought she died. That's interesting. So I would kind of hope they kill Han. But my prediction is at most Jacob dies, if possibly nobody.
Here's the thing. My enjoyment of this movie can be enhanced by the next one. As we talked about, like, if they actually show they have stakes, this movie will be a lot better. But it's just for the track record alone, I have no faith that it's actually going to happen. And it's really disappointing.
I can't wait for Brian to come back, and not just little Brian.
I can't wait for Jacob to come back. If they take Jacob back, I'm legitimately going to be upset. If he comes back alive, I'm going to be so mad. There's no way he can survive that. But then that's why I said for Han, and Han, bringing Han back for the future installments was already like a little cheeky move, making it like a prequel. But bringing him back from the dead the way they did, I get like the justice for Han. I understand that, but I don't know. There's just no stakes anymore. It's so boring.
Were there ever stakes, Matt?
A little bit. A little bit. At least characters were dead.
I mean, the original definitely has stakes, personal stakes.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of stakes. I thought it was just Coronas.
It was tuna on white, no crust.
It was. No, you're right. It was tuna. Shit.
So wrapping up our thoughts on this movie in particular, highlight, low right, favorite thing, least favorite thing, and do you recommend it overall? Okay, I'll go first. No one jumped on it.
No.
I have a feeling we may all say this. Jason Momoa is the highlight. He's incredible as Dante. This movie, I recommend it, if for nothing else, but for watching him. If you really have no interest, watch his scenes on YouTube or something. But I recommend it. He's just a truly great villain, and he's just wildly entertaining, really fun. He's great. Low light is just kind of the fact that this plays a little bit into the stakes thing, but it's just kind of the fact they made this movie without any real plan in place. I'm not saying you have to have everything totally mapped out, but if you're going to end the movie on a cliffhanger like this, and if you're going to spend almost 2.5 hours building things up, and then you don't have any kind of script for the follow-up, or even clearly an idea of what you're going to do, you create a movie that feels a little bit hollow and has a situation where Fast X's legacy almost depends on its follow-up, and I don't like when a movie doesn't get to stand at least a little bit on its own. I understand this is the 10th movie, 11th to 12th if you count, Hobbs and Shaw and or Better Luck Tomorrow in a series, so it doesn't stand on its own in that sense anyway, but it doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end, and if you're going to do that, you better have an idea in place for why, and they clearly didn't, so that, I think, hurts the movie the most for me. But I still recommend it. I still think it's an improvement over the last couple. And I still think it's a really good time, especially again because of Jason Momoa as Dante.
Yeah, I agree. Jason Momoa is the high. Like you said, we'll probably all agree on that. But I think the worst part was just generally the dialogue was not great, and just think the overall the vibe was just kind of meh all around. It was nothing that exciting about this movie that drew me in that much, aside from Jason Momoa as Dante. And I actually don't think it was necessarily a step forward. Past few, I didn't enjoy this one as much as the past few movies, but I do still think it's a fine movie, especially if you enjoy the Fast franchise. It's definitely one of the worst, I would say, though.
One of the Fast.
One of the Fast.
Fast.
I'll have force Matt to go last. I think I'd still recommend this movie. I think it's still good, and in my heart, I put it above 8 and 9. So, and I don't know if we will give our whole list of things, and rankings and stuff, but I definitely do think it's in the upper. Not like it's not the best anywhere, but anyway, I'd put it. It's probably somewhere in the middle for me, honestly. But yeah, highlight Jason Momoa. I don't care. I can't. I'm not gonna do my whole. Oh well, everybody's gonna say it, so I'll try and figure out something else. No, it's Jason Momoa. My least favorite thing, to me is there. This is gonna sound strange, but there wasn't like a big memorable set piece to me that there usually is in these movies, and I think they have their opening set piece, which was great, but usually they have like a big one in between, and to me it was like the way that I remember these trailers hyped it up, it was like to be the part with the dam, but then the movie ends at the dam, so you don't get the big like thing that they're gonna do other than like Dom rides his car down the dam. So like I feel like we've all said, I guess the worst. I guess you know what? No, the worst part for me is kind of that, and that it hinges what happens next. I hate that.
Yeah, and mostly the same. Jason Momoa's the highlight. Everything else is pretty forgettable. I didn't even know. I forgot about the cliffhanger completely. Oh, well, almost completely. The only thing I remember was I keep forgetting that his character is Don Dorito. I just keep thinking he's well, now I forget his actual name. That's whatever. Anyway, everything else is pretty forgettable. And would I recommend it? It's a bit of a cop-out answer, but it heavily depends on how 10 Part 2 goes. Because
now
a lot of it... Oh yeah, I forgot it's 11 now. A lot of it hinges on how it builds off of 10. So I can't give an answer, or at least a confident answer.
Fair, very fair. All right, so with that, we have caught up to Fast and Furious. We watched 12 total movies for this, and I will try to keep this brief, but I wanted to, for all of our sakes, but I wanted to kind of like look back at it overall, talk about how the movies stack up for each ourselves, see what I'm really interested to see, like how we rank them or feel about them differently, just because I know a lot of people have really wide-ranging opinions on like the best versus worst ones. But I do think we all likely have the same least favorite. Is everybody's least favorite 4? Or does anybody
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think 4's the only one I truly don't like. It is bad.
It's fucking awful.
Kind of breaking it up into thirds. Like round, so like, top four, middle four, bottom four, what would the other three movies in your bottom fours be? You could give them in order, you could just give them in general.
Let me. I wrote mine down, so let me.
I have mine right here, so I can give my next bottom four.
So like, I
have it.
Yeah, I put 4 as the worst. I put Hobbs and Shaw pretty low on there.
I put Hobbs and Shaw.
And then it goes up to 9 and then 8. I liked 8 in my opinion more than 9 because 8 to me felt like it was coming off of the high of 7, so it had a lot more of a oomph to me compared to 9. But that's where my bottom 4 stand, and obviously 4 is the fucking awful.
Yeah, 4 is horrendous. But I actually have Fast X at the next lowest after that on my list.
Oh wow.
It just did nothing for me, honestly. And then I have Hobbs and Shaw, and then F9, and then F9, the Fast Saga. So those are my bottom 4.
My bottom 4 is of course Fast 4, but next is Hobbs and Shaw. I don't like Hobbs. Not a big fan of Hobbs and Shaw. Then it's 9 and 8.
A lot of similarities between the three of us. We all have Fast 4 last, and we all have Hobbs and Shaw and Fast 9 in the bottom third. For me, just above 4 is 9. 9 is like the definition of like a C- type of movie to me. It's passable. It kept me entertained, but it's not something I would like revisit if it wasn't for something like this. Just above, I actually tweaked this while we were going over this, is like while we were talking. I lowered Hobbs and Shaw to 10. I enjoy Hobbs and Shaw. I think it's really fun. It has some really good moments, like really funny moments, but it's super produced. It's super like, it feels like it's made cynically to like push forward the Rock's brand, and it's arguably the least Fast and Furious movie, even if it's not the worst one. And then last in my bottom third is actually Too Fast, Too Furious. It gave us a lot of great characters. I think it's kind of a bad movie. I like it. I enjoy it. It's really charming, and I have it above like F9 or Hobbs and Shaw because it has a lot more charm and likability to it. But I just like don't think it's that good. It has maybe the weakest villain in the whole series. It has a really disposable love interest. It's desperately missing Vin Diesel. So yeah. Okay, what about your middle third? Your 5 through 8.
I'll go through first. My middle 4 are on the. I'll go from bottom to top. From bottom, I have Too Fast, Too Furious. Which I still genuinely enjoyed that movie more than I thought I would. I do genuinely love the interactions between Brian and Rome, so I loved that. But then it's Fast X for me. I put Fast X above that. I have a weird love for Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and then I put the first Fast and Furious after that because something about Tokyo Drift haunts my dreams, and in a weirdly good way. I don't know if it's just the style of it. There's a part of it that it just itches a feeling for me.
I mean, fair. I see that.
I get it.
I get it too. I guess I'll go next. So I actually have Too Fast, Too Furious as well. Then I have Fast and Furious. Then I have what did I write down here? Oh yeah, actually no wait, no sorry. I have Fast and Furious 8. Then I have Too Fast, Too Furious. And then what am I missing? Oh yeah, and they had the original Fast and Furious and Tokyo Drift.
Okay. I have Fate of the Furious at number 8. And then I have Tokyo Drift, which was tough for me to place because I wanted to put it higher, but I was like, I just couldn't. I really like that one, but I just couldn't put it over a few other ones. I was like, I really like that, but ultimately I don't like it better than these other ones. Then I have the original, The Fast and the Furious, and then I have at the number 5 spot, rounding out my middle third, Better Luck Tomorrow. Since we included that in this watch through.
Okay, I'm relieved I'm not the only person who has Better Luck Tomorrow in my middle section. I have Tokyo Drift at 8. I also agree with Jason strongly on that it's really hard to place. I think there's a case that it's the most rewatchable Fast movie. It's just such a like wacky time.
And I would agree.
It's such a wacky time capsule, and I went back and forth moving it like anywhere from 5 through 8. But I settled on 8 just because the movies I have ahead of it all have had more of to some extent, more of like a lasting impact on me. Like Tokyo Drift is like ethereally fun and good, but there's nothing that like pins it down versus like even something like Fast X to me. I can pin it down to I could watch that Dante performance all the time. At 7, I have Fate of the Furious. It has its issues, but I like Cypher in that movie, and it gets a lot of points in my book for being the only like pretty much the only movie, unless you count the original Killing Jesse, or whatever his name was, to kill a major character and leave them dead. To this point, it kills Elena. That is easily the most impactful death of the whole series. It has a actual like good soap opera plot twists of Secret Baby, and I really like the soapy stuff in Fast. Right now, right at 6, I have Fast X, but that could drop lower if 11 doesn't deliver. I generally think movies are pretty sequel proof, but if you set your entire movie up to set up a cliffhanger, you better deliver, and you're no longer sequel proof. So like I hesitantly put it at 6 right now because I have a lot of fun with it. 5, I put Better Luck Tomorrow. I think if you're going to be a film snob, I don't believe there's, saying objective is bullshit. You can't objectively evaluate any art. That's just literally impossible. But if you're going to be a film snob, most people would probably say that's the best movie. But that's not, it's just, I'm ranking Fast and Furious movies.
Ultimately,
and the fact that it's a really good indie drama is not getting into my top 4 for Fast. It just isn't.
well,
I
right.
can't.
And my thing is that, like, for me, the top 4 that I have are better at being action movies than Better Luck Tomorrow is at being like an indie drama movie.
The top 4 to me are, I mean, again, I could understand someone putting Better Luck Tomorrow in there, but other than that, the top 4 to me, which you could do the math in your head before I say them, what they are like, when I started doing the ranking and went, no question, I immediately knew these were the top 4. It was just a matter of what order. All right, so what's everyone's top 4?
I have a little controversially, because you guys already listed this one, but I have it number 4, Too Fast, Too Furious.
I knew you would have that high.
I love that movie.
I still forget about it.
I had it at 3 initially. I had it at 3, and then I just couldn't bring myself to put it over Fast 5 ultimately, which is the next on my list, peeking ahead, but I just, there's something about Too Fast, Too Furious that the back and forth between Paul Walker and Roman and Tyrese Gibson. Yeah, I don't know why I said Paul Walker's real name and Tyrese Gibson's character's name, but their chemistry is so funny to me, and it's just like, it really reminds me of a time when movies were just about what they were about, and nothing more, nothing special. It was just like, it's just these two guys and this girl that Rome is clearly jealous of, when she's talking to Brian. So anyway, I have Fast 5 at 3, and then Fast and Furious 6 at 2, and Furious 7 at number 1. The perfect send-off. We talked about it in depth in the episode, but the most emotional episode, or not episode, film in the franchise for sure, and a great send-off to the characters and a great all-around representation of Fast and Furious movies, I'd say.
I'm gonna force Matt to go next.
All right. So my top 4 are in this order: Fast 5, Fast 7, Fast 6, and Better Luck Tomorrow, which I abbreviated to BLT. So Fast 5, Fast 6, and Fast 7 and Fast 6. Honestly, they don't need any explanation. They are it's just the golden child of the Fast series. It's like the golden trilogy. It's the peak of one. Not only do they blend street racing really well, but also blend the espionage really well, and Grand Theft Auto-esque heists, and it's really, really well done. I love the practical effects of the trilogy as well, and the action is fast. It's super intense. There are stakes, and yeah, there's really nothing wrong with any of these 3 movies. They are honestly the peak of their of the action genre. And then Better Luck Tomorrow, honestly, it's just so different because it's originally wasn't supposed to be part of the Fast universe, but it is, and it's really refreshing, change of pace compared to the fast cars, the action, and I really like it. I like a small crime drama. It's just something really different, and that's why I really like it. So yeah, that's my 4.
I'll do mine. So from 4 to 1, I have Better Luck Tomorrow at 4. Main reason for that is, while I don't think Better Luck Tomorrow actually really, if I were to be between the Fast and Furious movies, this one isn't entirely as thematically a Fast and Furious movie. I just enjoy it. And love the characters, so oopsies. Then I have Fast 5. Then I have Fast Furious 7. And I put Fast and Furious 6 as my number 1. The only reason I put 7 below is because I feel like 6 does the best job for me of being the in-between of keeping things going from 5 and keeping that shit going hard. But also then, further in the end, bringing Letty back and, pushing things further for 7 that makes 7 so good. So to me, 6 not only does a great job of keeping things going, but setting everything up to keep it going, and I think it just does everything that a Fast and Furious movie should do perfectly, and it's just chef's kiss.
For me, 4 is Fast 6. Great movie, really enjoy it, but for me, it's easily the worst of the holy trinity of Fast is 5 through 7. One of them's got to be the least favorite for me. It's that one. This is all going to sound like slander to a movie I really love. I think it has the weakest villain of those 3. I think it has the weakest set pieces and action scenes of those 3. It's just kind of the middle one. It's great. It's in my top 4. I considered putting it at 3, but I settled on 4 because 3 is actually the original The Fast and the Furious to me. Every time I've watched it, I've liked it more. It also has a bit of a timeless quality to it, which I think you can say for 1 through 3 in general. But it's one that I think if this hadn't spawned such a ridiculous franchise, honestly, The Fast and the Furious would have become a bit of a cult classic in its own right. It's just a really enjoyable, simple movie with really good, complete character arcs that you could just watch on its own. And I think most people would probably enjoy it even if they wouldn't enjoy the later ones. It's just a good, simple movie. 1 and 2 I went back and forth on. 1 and 2 are both absolute perfect movies to me in a completely subjective sense. They scratch all the itches in my brain that I want. But 2 is Fast 5. It is
the end credit song of Fast Five will get me hype every time. The bank vault chase scene at the end is probably the best set piece in all of Fast. It's absolutely great. It's such a rebound from 4. It's the exact tone that I want them all to hit. It's really great. It is one of my favorite Rock performances because he's not just being the Rock. It's really good. It was innovative for the franchise. But the reason 7 beats it out for me is just like the difficult circumstances of Paul Walker dying relatively early into filming and then finding such a beautiful way to honor him. It's a great story. It's a great send-off. I like See You Again. It got overplayed the shit, but Fast 7 was everything that I think a movie like that in those circumstances should be, and those are such hard circumstances. So to me, it just like barely edges out 5. Plus, it gives us Deckard Shaw, and I think Deckard Shaw is a great antagonist turned protagonist. So that's my number 1.
You want to hear a fun fact that'll make you feel worse about See You Again a little bit?
What is it?
That Charlie Puth was back in the day. I don't know if he still is, obviously, but was friends with Shane Dawson and made some of the music for his YouTube videos.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
He was a big YouTube guy back in the day.
Big extra
I think he got a start on YouTube, Charlie Puth.
Yes, he did.
Don't let him near cats.
Yeah, he was in with a bunch of YouTubers back in the day.
Yeah, well, thanks for ruining that. Well, it doesn't really ruin it, but thanks for, disturbing me a little bit.
I hope you're thinking of Cats right now.
Cats the movie?
That is.
Jason Derulo, CGI.
Shane Dawson's definitely thinking about Cats.
I miss my cats.
Oh. All right,
Before
we get too sad and too tired, thank you to ALOFET, ALOFETT for the podcast art. Thank you to Thank you to Jason for the podcast music.
Yeah, Upsides PA on Instagram, all that shit. Upsides on SoundCloud. I mean, fucking podcast music. Follow my band, Faraday Band PA, on Instagram. Thanks.
Ooh. Follow Culture Illiterate on Spotify, Apple. Subscribe to Culture Illiterate Podcast on YouTube. All of our socials, the @ is @illiterate_pod. Follow us there because we don't know exactly when we're going to post next or exactly what it will be. So if you're interested, that's the best way to keep up with it. Reach us at cultureilliteratepod@gmail.com. You can send us questions, leave comments, like things, rate us, review us, all of that stuff. So again, we will be covering the Monsterverse next, but there's also some potential special episodes that I want to pitch to the guys. So we'll see what's directly next. But either way, look forward to us talking about some kaiju. And Sean, is the plural of kaiju just kaiju, or is it kaijus? I assume it's just kaiju, right?
It's just kaiju. It's literally just kaiju.
I assumed it was just kaiju. I assumed it was just kaiju, but then I was like, wait, I don't actually.
No, don't say kaijus. Don't say kaijus.
No. We should have told him it's kaijus.
No, I'm not. I refuse.
You guys aren't good
Not within a couple of days of his fucking bachelor party. We're not gonna have Jake in camp.
Well, this isn't going up. First of all, First of all, there's nothing wrong with being Jewish. Second of all, the Jewish people are incredible, are wonderful people. Second of all, this is not going up until well after the bachelor party. I'm not getting this edited by Saturday. This is Thursday.
What do you mean? You're totally getting this edited by tomorrow.
You guys are not good enough actors for this almost 2-hour monstrosity. Fuck no. To convince me of that. To convince me of that anyway. And fourth, I was like 99% sure it was kaiju, but I just suddenly had this like one little seed of doubt that I was like, what if it's not though? Anyway.
Actually, it is kaijus.
What if it's kaijus?
Follow us for similar musings on socials. Keep us in mind. We'll post eventually. Yeah, that's all. Bye-bye.